Hi, everyone. This is DJ Honey Flow for the Honey Flow Talk Show. I'm really excited to bring on the next guest. She's done incredible things and she's going to continue to do them, especially on Twitch. She's got such an amazing story. Ever since I met her, I've been really intrigued by her story and just, a lot of things that she's gone through. And I just see her show growing tremendously on Twitch and a lot of great things for her in the future. So she's going to introduce herself, basically share where she's from as well, and definitely join the conversation. Welcome Facebook and YouTube. That's something new for me. She was also on a female raid train of mine that I did with 100 female streamers. It took so much work. It was a fundraiser against human trafficking, and it was really incredible. I don't know if you guys know, but we raised roughly around $4,500, and there's still more donations coming in. So Seeds Canada wants to thank each and every one of you guys. And I thank you to all the female streamers, everyone, all the viewers watching those 100 shows. I was on it for 6 days, from 7 in the morning till 3 a.m. at night. I think I had 4 hours of sleep every day for 6 days. So I definitely took a Twitch break for about a week, which was the longest Twitch break ever for me. But thank you guys for, supporting and, of course, helping so many women and children, which is the main key for the organization. We're raising funds for Restoration House, and Women Unsilenced is my next guest. So she was on that raid train, and she does such an incredible show with prison reform and always has really great content. So make sure if you're catching my replay, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, Instagram as well, make sure you guys add Women Unsilenced. But let's bring her in the room right now. And we're going to have a great discussion. If you guys have any questions for her, then make sure you definitely leave them for her as well. So let's bring her in. Women Unsilenced. How you doing?
What is that happening? Is it spinning, or can you see me?
Oh no, I could see you. You're totally clear. I could see you perfectly. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I love the piano. I love your living room. It looks amazing.
Thank you. This is once upon a time.
Yeah. Do you know how to play piano? Actually, the piano in the background.
I took some lessons, and I took them because I bought the piano. So
It's gorgeous. I love it. Wow.
thank you.
I feel like you need like some fur, a nice, I don't know, something fancy, a nice hat, a glass of wine near the piano. I have a good imagination.
I love it.
Yeah. Hey, we got this girl, Xtina, in the building. How you doing? The first one in the building. Great to see you.
Hey, Honey Flo, will it be okay if I refresh my screen?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're clear. You're clear on my end for sure, but go ahead. Okay. It looks like she'll be back in a second, you guys. So the Women Unsilenced, guys, she's from New York as well. So we're going to have a great conversation tonight, just hearing more about her story, her journey, where she came from. Let's bring her back in.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good. Hey, Liddell the DJ, great to see you. So for all you guys, welcome again, YouTube, Facebook. Just started going to you guys about a month ago. So, leave some comments. You're not going to see all the comments coming in through the room unless you're on Twitch. Mm-hmm. So I tell you, make the switch to Twitch. It's amazing. It's such a great community. And you're going to see all the comments listed here, going back and forth in the room if you do come on Twitch. So definitely come on Twitch. We got Stirs de Soul in the building. Great to see you.
Hey,
Stirs de Soul. Stirs said something so funny. I always miss his comments, and I hate missing them because they're so funny.
Yeah, he's a good supporter, Stirs. I see him everywhere.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Stirs. We appreciate you, this girl, Xtina, too. It was her first raid train that she was on of mine, which was great.
Nice. So, hi, Xtina.
Yeah, so I wanted to, you're from New York. Are you actually born and raised in New York?
Yes, born and raised in New York City. I was born actually in the Bronx, and I usually feel like LL, he represents Queens or something, he says, but but I was born in the Bronx, in South Bronx, and my parents moved to Queens, actually Cambria Heights, Queens, when I was about 7 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. That's so awesome. So, I mean, New
Wonderful.
York is just such a special place. It's one of my favorite, places to visit as well. What would you say your city is known for? Like the Bronx, what would you say that's really known for? Is there
The
anything
Latinos.
special? Latinos? Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, the Puerto Rican Day Parade and the music blasting. But I lived in actually Soundview,
Oh, okay.
Soundview.
Awesome.
So yeah, it definitely. I think it was when they first built those. It was a housing development then, quote unquote, and it
Mhm.
became the Soundview that we know it today. So
Okay, that's actually on my bucket list to go to the Puerto Rican parade. It's just something I've always wanted to go to,
yeah,
and like,
yeah.
yeah, I
It's
would
a it's
definitely
a
love to go.
it's a cultural city. I just learned something I saw recently. I think that the Bronx was the first place where middle class Black Americans were actually welcomed.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it was owned by the Jewish community, and the Jews accepted blacks, blacks that worked basically,
Oh,
were working
wow.
families. Yeah, so yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. How is it? I'm just curious too, because when you talk about Queens, the Bronx, Brooklyn, like all these cities, is there kind of like a rivalry between each kind of city, or is it kind of divided, or are people fine? Like if you're in the Bronx, if you're in Brooklyn, or is there kind of like a little mini rivalry between different areas?
I'll say this. I'm not a street girl, so I can't really speak to the rivalry type
Hmm.
thing. But I will say I'm definitely a New Yorker all the way
Hmm.
to the pit of my core. And you can tell the difference between somebody from the Bronx. You can tell
Hmm.
who's from Brooklyn,
Really?
who's from uptown. Yes, you can. Yes, you
Oh,
can.
that's interesting. That's
It's
interesting.
very
Well,
interesting.
I love all. I've been to so many different places. I briefly went to the Bronx, Brooklyn. I absolutely love Harlem. Like I've been pretty much a lot of different places in New York. It's just such a
Yeah.
special place, and I think
Mhm,
it's the only state that is just so diverse. And it just reminds me. I mean, Toronto's on such a small scale, but it just
mhm.
reminds me a little bit when I listen to New York DJs. They remind me so much of Toronto as well. If I were to close my eyes, I'm like, yeah, they're playing the same stuff we play in Toronto, which is special. And you only get that in New York. Like any other state I visited, you don't really get that. I don't know, it's just a different feeling, New York's
Mm.
beautiful. Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
that's good.
I
So
love
what
it.
would
It's beautiful and dirty, but
yeah.
it is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it
When I visited there, I'm like, oh, this isn't like Sex in the City where it's just like all you see everything all perfect and like mansions everywhere and all these brownstone places. I'm like, there's garbage everywhere stacked up here, you know? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. So Stirs, I'm sure you have something to say because you're from New York. Is there anything
Oh,
interesting that you have to say about New York? Let me know. Oh,
is that
oh gosh. Oh, he goes, "Could
those-
you hand this to women on silence?" I always bug him because he's never given me a flower.
Thank
So
you, sirs. That's
I don't
so
know if
sweet.
I don't know if he's giving me a little bit of shade. I'm not sure
No,
already,
you know
but
why I
we
like
we
Stir
are
so much?
I'm okay.
I like Stir so much because he supports all the women. I see him every whenever I'm in any woman's room and he comes into the room, it's like, hey, Stirs. I mean, like he gets that hello from everyone. I
That's
love
so
it.
funny. Yeah,
Mhm.
he does support the ladies. He just doesn't give me or my mods electronic flowers. He gives everyone else electronic. I like bugging him.
He's got
Hey
something
Eddie,
else for you.
he's got nothing for me. He's like a brother. He's like a brother. We got Eddie number two in the building. How you doing, Eddie number two? Hey, we got Curly T
Eddie.
in the building. Great to see you. Thanks for coming through, Curly
No.
T. Oh, Stir says he's from Long Island. We're stepchild status. I'm not sure what the
Yes.
status is.
Yeah. Yeah. We kind of never mentioned Long Island, but you
Yeah,
know.
okay. Well,
Hey.
we don't mention it too much because Stirs is in Rhode Island. That's why. So that's why we
Oh,
don't mention it. Yeah.
okay.
I'm just bugging him. So what was it like pretty much just growing up, like when you were growing up in New York, what was it like?
Um, okay, so that's a loaded question. I mean, I can go like a whole bunch of different places, but for me personally, it was I look back, I had a great childhood, and I had my mom and my dad. My dad was the greatest that ever did it as a daddy. Like he's just the best. You can't
Hmm.
get a better father than mine. That doesn't mean he didn't have his flaws.
Hmm.
And it doesn't mean that as I got older, I didn't see those flaws, you
Hmm.
know? And I just want to put that on it. But he definitely, as a child, everything was great. My mom was great. I mean, I had a good childhood, like I said. And, they supported everything that I wanted to do. I remember in particular, there's P Fu.
Yeah. Woo.
Such a pleasant dude, right?
Yeah, he is. He's so
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
But I remember one time I wanted to just to give an idea about the type of parents I had that always supported like whatever I wanted. Um, I wanted to play drums at one point,
Hmm.
and my dad and I wanted a drum set. I wanted the whole shebang. And my father was like, "Okay, you want a drum set? I'll get you a drum set, but you got to learn how to read music." And I
Hmm.
was like, who reads music to play the drums? Like, who
Yeah.
does that?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I found myself in a music school with a drum pad and some
Oh,
sticks.
that's so cool.
Girl,
Yeah.
and I learned how to read music.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And I learned a lot more behind that than just, it taught me to be thorough in whatever it is that I decide I want to do in my life. So all of these things that
Hmm.
my dad had he had a plan. He had a plan.
Yeah.
And so I got
Wow.
my eight
That's
piece drum
amazing.
set
Wow. So
after
do
I
you
completed.
actually know, like, would you know how to play now if you had a drum set in front of you?
Well, I mean, I can beat the hi hat and the snare. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
need a little
that's so
something.
awesome. You
Yeah.
should try doing something. You should do something on Twitch. That would be so dope. Like,
Negative.
even if you're off, I think that would be fun. It would be really cool seeing you do that. You should really do that.
No,
Um,
no, no.
DJ Ash G, good to see you, girl. I was thinking about you this morning.
Hey,
Glad you came
Ashley.
through. I was wondering how you're doing, and I noticed on your IG that you've been busy with real-time gigs. I took a break from Twitch, so I'm like, oh, I wonder how she's doing. I haven't seen her just in a minute. So I was just thinking about you this morning. Glad to see you.
Hey,
We got
sis.
DJ P Fu in the building, of course. He always brings a bright, radiating smile all the time to his
Yes,
streams.
pleasant.
We got Blade is Truth. She's got like that smoothed out voice, on
Yes.
her streams. So
How
good
you
to see you
doing,
guys.
sis?
Oh, we got Tiff in the building. Is it
Hi,
Tiff
Tiff.
Gis or GIS? Tiff. Great to see you as well. Thanks for coming through, you guys. So if you guys have any questions as well, be sure to post them for Women Unsilenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to catch up. I hope we all see each other for real. Like I would love to come to New York, see Stirs, see you, see Jen. Like there's so many beautiful people I've met on Twitch, DJ Ash
Yeah.
G, so many great people in this room. We got DJ Mike Vibe too. Great to see you. Hopefully I'll be able to see you soon as well in Toronto. Thanks for coming through. Stir says, can the drummers get some? Can the drummer get some? Because the drummer ain't had what moan in a long time.
Can it,
Oh,
what he
money,
says?
money. I can't even see. Don't have my glasses. Yeah, that's funny. In a long time. Well, no, you can't get
That's a
anything,
song. That's a
Stirs.
song. Can the drummer get some? I can't remember. It's like a rap song or something. I can't remember what
Yeah,
song it is.
actually, it sounds familiar. Who raps that again? I can't remember. Yeah,
Mhm.
can a drummer rap get some? I've heard that before. I don't know. I'm not a good rapper, so I'm not even going to try. So I know, like, over the years, you mentioned, just hearing pieces of your story that you were a really successful entrepreneur, like running, many different businesses before. So what type of businesses did you actually run too?
Yeah, I had a nationwide real estate investment firm. That was my primary income. I had two smaller businesses. One was a business development firm where I consulted only with my clients though. I consulted and helped them form their LLCs and their S corps. And then I had a loft downtown LA. It was a huge 3,000 square foot loft I had down there for that I used as an event space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love art, and so I used it to exhibit art from various different artists in downtown LA. And so I would ask them to put together if they wanted to display something, because I had a nonprofit organization then as well. And so the exhibits would be for that. And then I would have a jam session, you know, live jazz and a cocktail, because I love to entertain. So, you know,
Wow. How were
that
you
was,
able to like run that many businesses? Because that's a lot, like
you
to keep up
employ that
with.
many people.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So you're
yeah,
like a true entrepreneur, by heart for sure. So
yeah.
what type of nonprofit did you run before?
I had I had a nonprofit that we empowered we empowered trauma. No, that's what we do now.
Hmm.
But we empowered pregnant teens and young mothers between the ages of 15 and 21 with um, with tools in. We taught them cultural diversity, health and wellness, and cultural diversity, health and wellness, and personal finance. It was a long time
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
That's really, really good. Hey, DJ GQ, I see you in the
Hey,
building.
DJ
Great to see you.
GQ.
Yeah, great to see you. He always does a great show too, and I love
Yes,
his backgrounds, like his living
yes,
room scenes. And I
yes.
can never find great living room scenes, but he's got them. So
Oh, you know what?
DJ
I'll
GQ.
sell mine. No.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There you go. He's got really, really good ones. And Stirs de Soul, you know what this sounds like? Stirs, it sounds like the Roots. Like when I read this, it kind of sounds like something the Roots would be rapping in my mind. Anyways, but you said it was a funk song. All right. Well, welcome everyone. And again, for all you guys I don't know, this is Women Unsilenced. She does a show on Twitch. So make sure everyone adds her in the room
Thank
as
you.
well. And if someone actually, I forgot to mention, I don't have any mods because I switched my hours. So I don't think I'll be having, I'm going to be looking for mods actually. So if anyone wants to put up Women in Silence, if they could put up her Twitch page, that would be helpful to me as well. And I'll just post it in the room. It should have actually been coming up on my StreamYards, but that's okay. We got Rise in the building. Great to see you, Rise. Thanks for coming through too. Was thinking about you guys, so glad to see you. So with the businesses you ran before, like just being a woman and being African American, did you ever face like any challenges, running your businesses and what type of challenges were they before as well for you?
Hi, Roz. Look at that beautiful face. I never saw her before.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever, when you are a female entrepreneur, you got, all of our businesses are largely owned and operated and ran by men.
Hmm.
So that being said, we enter into the business world as a double minority, woman and black, right? And so, of course, there is, adversity. And then you got another negative,
Hmm.
not negative, but another adverse situation. You've got one female, black, then you've got single parent to boot. Like,
So
how do
true,
you
actually.
how do you rise above all of that, right? Um, and and this does not take anything from our men, because we know that they have their plight, and I definitely respect and honor their plight.
Yep.
Um, so, but yeah. So long story short, for me personally, it's positioning. I was in
Hmm.
the music industry back in 1995, and so of course we know that that's all men,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So I, and I,
100%.
so I met everybody. I introduced myself to everybody, and I got to know everybody via the telephone first.
Hmm.
So before they even met me, they knew that I was about business, and
Yeah.
I had made sure that I positioned myself to have something that I was able to leverage so that I can keep them interested and you know, in me as a businesswoman. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got to think, you
Yeah.
got to be strategic. You can't just go in there like, hey guys, I got a product for you.
Yeah,
I
that's
just,
so true.
some girls know how to work it like that. I don't personally. I just don't
Oh
have that
yeah.
type of game. I just don't.
I'm in
I
sales.
wish
I
I
see that.
did
I
sometimes.
know I'm in sales. I see that all the time. Like
Yeah.
even corporate, you see it all the time. I'm like, I can't work anything. The only thing I can work is like talking. That's about all I can do, you know. So,
Yeah,
but
no, you don't know. And God bless those women that can roll in there and just use all of that feminine,
yeah, I
you know,
can't.
that
Doesn't
femininity, you
work for
know.
me. Yeah.
It, and you know, it would work for us if we chose to work it, if we learned how to work it. I just never did. I just fell back on, you know, what my parents, you know, it was about school. It was about, you know, coming to the
Hmm.
table with something.
Yeah, that's so true. How many
Yeah.
so how many years did you actually run your businesses then before for?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur since 95.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
Uh,
takes guts too, you know? A lot of people, I think, in this season have started becoming entrepreneurs, right? Just because of the pandemic and everything. They
it's different
really
now.
think twice. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
different
it is.
now. It's a lot easier to become an entrepreneur now. It's like it's almost like, well, why not? You know.
Mhm,
But back then, girl, it was. I mean, so many people were afraid for me. I wasn't afraid in that way. They were afraid because I had two children. You know, I had two
that's a lot,
sons,
yeah.
and I was a single mom. Um, and I, you know, but they don't know, you know, when people don't know your details, it's I can understand them being afraid, but I positioned myself to leave corporate America. I was like,
Mhm,
this is no for me. This is a huge no for me. So I had to figure out how to get out of there. And I had to figure it out because I had children to take care of. You know, there was
yeah,
no
so
system.
true.
I didn't believe in the system. I didn't have any assistance helping me, and I didn't have any child support.
Mhm,
So you know, so
wow.
I had to figure it out. You know,
Mhm,
and so I did. I was a little crafty about it. You know,
mhm,
initially I thought maybe I needed a pay raise or I needed to just be in a different space because I had worked for American Express for like 8 years, and 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 I was like, whew, I couldn't do this anymore. I didn't want to be, and I'm the type of person that's not going to get, I'm not going to get promoted. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Um, so so I left American Express thinking that I wanted, you know, more money would make the difference. And when I left, almost immediately, I knew that that was not going to make a difference. It
hmm.
wasn't about the money for me. I just felt stifled. I felt
Yep,
like I couldn't breathe, and it was almost like looking down a tunnel, like a black hole, and there was nothing on you. I couldn't see through the tunnel. So and that's when I positioned myself to leave that company. I started reading the policy handbook. I started reading the handbook. I'm like, listen, I know there's an out somewhere. I just gotta
mhm.
find it. So yeah.
Wow. What gave you the courage to just say, like, you have probably 2 young kids at the time, like, what gave you courage to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna leave corporate America and just" because we're so conditioned, you know,
We
when we're in
are.
the corporate world and what you learn in school and what you learn from the beginning, everyone's like, "Just, you know, go to school, get this job, be in this box, and live your life, get a mortgage and have a family," and you know what I mean? It's just it's hard with your mindset, I guess, changing around to an entrepreneur and, you know, believing that you could actually do it because now you're going against everything. You're going against everything that you were taught, right? So, what gave you the courage to just say, hey, I'm done with this? Like, this is not me. And I want something better, you know?
You know, that's everything you said is so spot on. It's the way I grew up. My parents both had, you know, one worked for the city, one worked for the state. They both retired at 55, I think, and got their retirement, blah, blah. So the beat goes on. But then there's something that my dad told me when I was, oh my God, I think I had to be 10 or maybe even 9. And it stuck with me because he didn't tell me once, he told me several times. He said, you could be anything in this world you want to be, you know? And
Hmm.
then he said, you know, just keep your feet planted firmly on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so
Aw.
as I got older, that didn't make sense.
Mhm.
That was a contradiction. You cannot be anything in this world you want to be with your feet planted firmly on the ground. You will be stuck and you won't be able to move. So that's when I had to interpret what he was saying. Basically, he wanted me to keep my feet on the ground because he wanted a safe space for his daughter to exist in, you know. But the other part is what I had to really I had to just take and run with, and that was you can be anything in this world you want to be, and I ran with
Yeah.
it, and I
So
believe
true.
them. My daddy said it, it's real, and that was that, you know.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really great. And it takes courage because a lot of people will tell you, like, it's crazy, it's ridiculous. What are you
yeah,
doing? Can you imagine if people actually said to you, instead of saying that it's going to fail or it's not going to work, can you imagine if you had your friends and family actually say to you, it will succeed, you will do good, it will open up? Can you imagine what that could do? You know what I mean? We never
yeah,
hear that. But if we did start changing our dialogue and we start changing, what we say to other people, I think it could make a huge impact. We could create that change, right?
yeah,
And you just
yeah,
never know. And I remember hearing people say that when I said, "Hey, I want to get on YouTube or I want to actually start doing things online." They had every negative thing to say before it even started, and yet they also want to do it too. So it's
you're
like,
right.
why do you instill so much fear in others? Just, for me, I don't know. I'm trying to change my dialogue even when I say that to other people that have different dreams, because we're all
Yeah,
created differently, right?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but I just find it really admirable that especially with kids too, that you were able to push through and do something and make it work and have that hustle in you. Because
it
not
was
everyone
hard,
does.
honey. It was hard
Mhm.
because people that really like that I knew that love me. Candle Lady, I saw you pop up there on the screen.
Yes,
How
Candle
you
Lady,
doing,
great to see
sister?
you. We got
Mwah.
Cheryl Squad. Is
Yeah.
Cheryl Squad, is this Drucker? I have a feeling this might be Drucker. Cheryl Squad, who are you? Good to see you. I have a feeling it could be Drucker in disguise because she's the
Yeah.
only one that says sis dab right here. So I think it might be her. DJ Ash G says your vision isn't meant to be seen through the eyes of others. Wow, so powerful. Thank you. So true. So true. Um, yeah, and Cheryl Squad says respect anyone with a mentality of hustling, which
Hey,
is true. You have to
yeah.
hustle. But sorry, go ahead to your point too.
It's all right. Yeah, so many people that love me, like really love me, um, were scared for me. They just were scared. They were like, no, you have kids, you can't do this. And so it takes courage. I don't recall the other part of your question, but it took a lot. Oh, I know where I was going with that. I had to close them off,
Hmm.
and that meant even my best friend. I had a bestie
Mhm.
who is my bestie to today, until today. She's still my best friend, and I had to shut her out though. I had to like we didn't lose touch, but I didn't communicate too well with her for a period of time. I didn't communicate with my parents. Um, Even my dad, man, even my daddy, I had to say, you know what, daddy, if it ain't positive, I got to go. I
Mhm.
can't do you
Mhm.
right now. Because it's hard to make a move. Like, and I moved from New York City all the way diagonally across this country to California with my
Wow.
2 children, and I did not
Yeah.
know a soul in California, not a
Hmm.
soul. My youngest was 11, my oldest was 16 at the time, and I didn't know anybody. I just knew
Mhm.
to move into the best school district.
Wow.
You stand a good chance with your kids, in a good school district. So it was a little pricey that I couldn't afford at the time. But we make those sacrifices for our kids, right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to say, Curly T, thank you for that message. I appreciate that. Curly T says we need to have the right support system, exactly what you said, around you. If not, time to shift your environment and be around same like-minded people type of
That's right,
people.
Curly T.
It's
That's
so true.
perfect.
I gotta find that though. I feel like I'm definitely in that season, and it's
Yeah.
definitely you could feel so alone in a season when you're trying to work towards your dreams or your visions, and just people are just not understanding it around you, and it's hard finding those people, you know? Sometimes you're left
But
in
the
a
focus
season.
But the focus is not the people, the focus is you. Focus
Mhm.
on your dreams, focus on what
Mhm.
you want to accomplish. And the universe or God, whatever you believe, will provide the rest.
Yeah,
But
that's so
but you
true.
and so when they say it's lonely at the top, yeah, it is.
It
It
is.
is.
It
Oh,
is. You get
sure it is.
misunderstood a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And people think you're
absolutely.
too good. People may be like, "Oh, you think you're too good now? You think you're like this?"
You
And you're
gotta,
like, "I'm the same person."
girl,
You
no, it's
know?
the
So,
people that change. Trust me. It's the
yeah,
people that
yeah.
change.
So
And
true.
there's a, I didn't read this article, or I probably don't even want to say who said it, but
Mhm.
you know, we grew up with this thing that is largely the case because we couldn't have done anything. I know I couldn't have been, my just to preface things, I didn't live a life of crime, so
Mhm.
I did work hard and I did earn, I earned my living, and but we'll get into that, I'm sure, later.
For
But
sure. Yeah.
it's kind of like you can't um it's just, you got to be all right. They
Mhm.
said, listen, I'm gonna get biblical with you real quick,
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
because
for sure.
it's just apropos, right?
Mhm.
Jesus walked alone, didn't he?
Mhm.
We're not comparing ourselves to Jesus, but we do use um, Jesus walked alone. So did the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi
Mhm.
wasallam, right?
Mhm.
The prophets were sent as a guide for us, right? So when I say Jesus walked alone, by no means was I Jesus. Did I ever think I was?
Mm.
However,
Yeah.
I'm saying that to say there are times when you have to appear to be, you will appear to be walking alone, but you're not alone because God is always there, and so if that's a perfect time while you're pursuing your dreams to build a relationship
Mhm.
with God at the same time, because you're going to
Yeah.
need him to hold on to that stuff,
100%.
because it goes
100%.
away, as you can see.
Yeah,
Right.
it's so true. It's so true. And at the end of the day, that's the only thing foundation, at least that I see in my life too, that has
Mhm.
made sense. Like all this other stuff just comes and goes. You know, people follow you, they unfollow you the next day. People love you, then they hate you the next day. And that's just the world of a stage. It's the world of being online. It's the world of social media. And it's just the world we live in, that we exist in. But I feel like the only foundation that I have ever had that remains solid and true is my faith in God, for sure. 100%. You know, but
Amen.
your walk is like this. It's never a straight line. It's always
Mm-mm.
like
Mm-mm.
squiggles, and it's probably by far the hardest thing,
And
hardest
I'd like to
walk.
think the worst is behind me, but I don't know what's ahead of me.
Yeah. No, I think he's got amazing plans for you. Like I just knew that, and I know and I'm not even just saying that. Like I really believe that when I first met you, although we don't know each other super, super well, just from, hearing and listening to your story. And that's what we're going to get into now. Actually, I just think it's just so remarkable, and your whole journey, and I woke up and I think I messaged you, and we'll talk about it later, that you just reminded me of, someone else came to mind that kind of had the same journey. And you never know, what someone will become and what they'll do with their lives. But most importantly, I think it's learning that life lesson, whatever we go through, whatever trial we go through, that, he's going to use it to bring greatness, right? Before we
Right.
all leave here. Like that is the main mission, is not about ourselves and serving our egos. It's about what we're doing for the world. And that's what I believe your story is, just so incredibly powerful, and it's just going to keep spiraling and keep getting bigger. So that's one
Thank
thing I want
you.
you to I want you to kind of share with people, and I do feel like it's meant for the world. I don't feel like it's just going to be on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook. Like, have you thought about actually writing a book or anything? like that?
It's written. I've
Oh,
written. I've
okay.
written 3
Awesome.
books.
Wow. Awesome.
I've written 3 books. The first one is it's still in editing phase, but it's all
Mhm.
written. It's done. So I'm hoping that will drop. I'm hoping that will be ready for pre-release. Not pre-release, but pre-orders by June. At least pre-orders.
Oh,
I'm ready.
awesome.
Yeah,
Sounds
I'm
good.
really
Well,
ready for
let
that
us
to
know
drop.
because I'll definitely be selling your book. So let us know when
Thank
it's ready.
you.
Um, this is Shero. Okay, Shero Squad has definitely got to be Drecker. I just feel like this is Drecker or
How
Mariposa
how about
all
how
over
about
it.
she Ross Squad?
Oh, is it Shiraz Squad?
I
Okay, I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I'm just
Oh, I
trying it
thought it was
on.
Shiro Squad. I'm not sure. Is that you, Drucker, behind this user ID? You're making me laugh. She's like, or he, but I think it's a she. I'm walking in my Mary Mary voice. It's like you know someone on Twitch when they could switch their usernames on you, and you just know who it is because you just know. I have a feeling that's her. But anyways, it's Shiro. Okay,
I
but
don't
who
know.
is? Yeah,
That's
you know
just
who
giving a spin
Drucker is,
on it.
right? I hope it
I love,
is. But
I love
anyways,
perspective.
um, yeah, Blade is True says facts. Oh gosh. Cheryl Squad says I am still
Hi.
standing in Elton John voice. Um, let's see here. Oh yeah, she says we have a best-selling author in the place. There you go. You better get Women Unsilenced autograph now,
Oh,
guys. You
look,
know,
I'm like, who's the best-selling author? That would
before
be so great. I want to
before
meet
she
her.
before she gets famous, you guys better grab her autograph. And I had her on my show, so
Hi, Blade is Truth. I just kept intending to say hi to her and I didn't, but
yes, DJ GQ says Cheryl Squad. You got a lot of voices. Oh man, that's funny. So yeah, so I definitely want you to share your powerful story. I've heard it, a few times. And for all the people that are tuning in now, just if you want to kind of share your story and basically what happened on your journey. I wanted a little bit of a background like you gave me, just kind of like your businesses and how you started off when you were younger. But yeah, so I'm going to actually let you take the lead there and share your story too. It's a really powerful one, guys.
um I like the having the conversation with you. It was I figured we would all of that stuff we just talked about is part of my story.
Yes, for
That's
sure.
part of that is who I am.
Yeah.
My dad, my mom, how I grew up, all of that stuff that we just talked about. That's who I am.
Hmm.
My this right here, what I've recently experienced, is just a piece of my story. It's
Hmm.
like it's such a small part, however significant, but like it's such a small piece. And if I live to be 100, it will be a tenth of my life, not even
Hmm.
that,
For
you
sure.
know. And
Yeah.
so and so that's how I look at it. But I know that I definitely responding to a call to share my story.
Hmm.
This is not something that I did in the past. I would never take a public platform and discuss me.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
the reason why I've chosen to do that at this point is because like um, I feel like I have to. I feel like when you think of what I've been through, it's you don't think of anybody like me. You don't think of people coming through it
Hmm.
like me, even though I have met very many sisters that have come through with flying colors, and are beautiful with it, you
Hmm.
know. So this whole everything that, like I said, we was talking about is about me, is part of who I am. And
Hmm.
I'm glad you asked me those questions because it gives people a little backdrop, you know. But so in 2012, so all of the businesses that I had, we already talked about, and all of that stuff. Back in 2012, I pled guilty to charges of white collar fraud, and I was sentenced to 120 months in the federal system. And I served that time. I mean, I got a year off, and some change for a good
Hmm.
time. And um but um that in and of itself was, I mean, there's so Why did I go to prison? You know, um, did I do something wrong? Yeah, I did. I made a left turn in my business. Um, and in pleading guilty to what happened, first of all, the feds never proved anything that I did. So pleading guilty was something that I had to do. And what I haven't shared before on this platform is that I was actually caught between a rock and a hard place, and there was nowhere for me to go, because even one of my friends was like, "What is Cookie doing in there?" Like, she didn't even fight; she just pled guilty. People know that I fight. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hard pressed. You can't just give me a no and it's gonna lay. I need to know, like, why. I mean, that was before, but a lot of things I don't need to know now, honey. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but just like, you just can't tell me no as far as business is concerned. It's there's an underlying for everything. Long story short, so my real estate investment firm, I've formed that, and I formed it because for one reason or another. I started off as a loan officer in the business, and then I started selling property to the happy homemaker, and that got boring to me,
Mhm.
because you get close to closing a deal, and then the wife is like, well, those wood floors, are we going to get some money off of the deal for that? And it's like, lady, come on, man, this is like, many six figures here, and we're talking about some paint, but in her right, because they're about to spend money. So anyway, that was just not my thing. So I got into the real estate investment side of business. And how did I end up in that space? I ended up in that space because I like numbers, I'm logical, and not for nothing else, whenever you sell a house to mainstream America, they usually buy something that they can't actually afford at the time,
Mhm.
because somebody told them to buy something that you'll grow into, right?
Yeah, for
But
sure.
you don't know how fast or slow your pockets are going to move. So you buy this house, you walk away from the deal, and you got this nut that you cannot afford to maintain. So now
Mhm.
you got a whole bunch of other problems. They mad at you. You put them in this deal, and but I mean, I get it, but I don't like that kind of business. I like the type of business where everybody walks away happy, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so I found that in investment real estate, and that's why I started doing investment real estate. And I guess, once you open up your doors and decide what type of people that you want to come through them, that's what comes through. And I heard that somewhere yesterday. You attract. In fact,
Mhm.
we had a Raina Ryan on last night, psychotherapist, and she
Oh,
said,
nice.
You attract what you are in that moment. And I'm like,
That's true. It's true.
yeah. And so long story short, I started to attract, investors.
Mhm.
Naturally, I became an investor. I had properties all over the country,
Mhm.
well, actually, out of like maybe 9 states. I had, several different properties, and I liked that for me. So I developed a client base. They liked it. There was incentive packed in my real estate transactions. So the client always walked away with money. Everybody was paid and walked away happily ever after. Look like
Mhm.
Eddie Murphy, like, and the money was plentiful,
Mhm.
and that's the type of business that I like, where everybody will be paid, and and so when you make that type of money, um, it alleviates a lot of other stuff that could potentially go wrong. So, and if you're interested in the whole deal and the transactions and all of that, we can get into that. I have no qualms about sharing that. Um, but I'll go right past it in the moment and say
Mhm.
that. Um, so the reason why what I actually did, which is what nobody has asked me. Nobody said, "Well, what did you do?"
Mhm. I
and
think I asked you that the first time I met you because I was so curious. I was
Did I
like,
tell you?
Yeah, you did. And you told me the amount too. I was like, woo. I'm like,
Uh,
I'm like, you need to come up to Canada. And then I start having a very vivid imagination. I'm like, I you kind of strike me as like the Wonder Woman that I would still want to go in a Cadillac with a floppy hat on and black shades and like, I don't know, just whatever. I have a bad imagination too.
Listen, we all have an alter ego,
I
don't
was
we?
like, I'm like, she's really cool, man. It's like, I feel like I need to watch Set It Off, after. But,
I remember
I
you
joke
saying that.
around. Yeah, because you
I
totally
remember you
remind me
saying
a
that.
little bit of, I don't even know if I could mention Jada Pinkett, but I always say to Women Unsilenced how much she just reminds me of Jada Pinkett a little bit.
Aw.
Um, so yeah.
I'll take that all the way around because I know she's not to mention she's like just simply beautiful,
Yeah, she
but
is. Yeah.
she's also a little spicy and
She
feisty, and
is. Yeah.
I can relate to that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, you guys feel like you guys could be cousins or something. See, I'm not the only one. Cheryl Squad says I can see that, Honey Flow. So,
yeah,
usually when I say people remind me of each other on Twitch, they're like, girl, like, you need your glasses. They always bug me, but thank you. So she says the same thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's up to you whether you like to share. I know everyone is curious for sure.
About in particular, tell me, ask me.
Yeah, so basically, what
Oh, what I
you
did.
yeah, basically that, and I don't know if you wanna give the amount, that's totally up to you.
Well,
What you feel comfortable with.
it's not one amount. It's that's a sum. That's
Mhm.
a sum.
Yeah.
But so so I did these really like these I want to call incentivized real
Mhm.
estate transactions where there was incentive built into incentive, meaning for short is what the people will call a kickback, right?
Mhm.
But kickback is only relative to the way the transaction is actually laid out. So if a construction worker, so if there's repairs that need to be done in a property, and that's laid out on the HUD, which is the what do they call that? The Housing Urban Development. It's like a checklist of all of the fees and expenses that the deal requires, and where money is being paid out to. So um, so so I said that to say so yeah, and so all of that stuff goes on that HUD. We'll call it the HUD one, the checklist. Let's just call it the checklist for people that don't understand real estate. So all of
Mhm.
that stuff goes on the HUD one. And hey, mysterious
Mhm.
DJ.
Hey, Mysterious. Great to
So
see you.
all that stuff goes on the HUD one, and that HUD one is approved by the bank. The
Mhm.
bank signs off on it. It goes over to escrow. They turn it into instructions. Everybody signs off on it. The buyer, the seller. You know, the day is good, right?
Mhm.
And so therefore if there's a construction company on there because there's repairs that need to be done on the house, that construction company gets paid. They get their money so that they can go ahead and do the repairs on the house. Well, that being the case, I said, oh, now if a construction company can get some money, why can't another company get some money?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so I created this whole thing. And I looked at it and I said, this can happen, and that can
Mhm.
happen. And you know, like Raina Ryan, the
Mhm.
psychotherapist said, you attract what you are putting out there, right? So of course, me not being a genius, meaning like what my daddy said, what you thought, somebody else already done thunk it.
Mm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
yes, so I ran into some people that, figured out the same thing.
Mm. Mhm.
And yeah. And so that is how that developed. So now, so long story short, is that a crime? No, no.
Mhm.
The actual act of it is not a crime. However, other parts of it can be a crime. So
Mm.
if the appraiser is, working with the bank, because, let me tell you something too. The judge told me, Well, I better be nice though, because I'm trying to get off probation, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to get you in trouble.
right. No, I won't get in trouble, sweetheart. I don't pay the cost at this point,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
I do want to get off, a little bit early. But long story short, so so if there is intent, or I don't even want to use the word intent, because it was believed that I didn't have any intention, on there being any loss. And when the judge said, he was absolutely right. I didn't intend for there to be any loss, and there didn't need to be any loss. But when people when you're doing business with somebody and they purchase these type, especially any type of property, if you miss the first couple of months of a mortgage payment, and mind you guys that are listening, that do understand real estate and are in real estate, I'm talking 10 years ago, literally, actually more than that, maybe 12 years ago, with most of my transactions. So when you damn, I lost my train of thought. When you help me.
That's okay. You know what? It'll come back. Yeah, it'll come back. Sorry, I was looking at
Yeah,
the
I'll
chat.
come back to that.
Yeah,
But
that's okay. No problem. Have you actually like can you ever go back into real estate or no?
sure,
Oh, you
sure.
can.
Because
Okay.
okay, so that brings me back. See,
Mhm.
I knew you're good.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I was trying to update something on Instagram as we were talking, trying to update your picture on Instagram going live. It shut on me.
oh,
I was trying to
so
update that while you're talking. Yeah, go ahead.
so yeah, so so the act of, it's the people that are involved in the transactions. It's what are they doing on their end. It takes so many different, there's so many different elements and so many different entities that are required to close a real estate transaction. So when you have somebody that is, so if the appraiser is working with the bank, that's where I was going. If the appraiser is working
Mhm,
with the bank and
mhm.
they're inflating prices or whatever, I may not know that. I might not.
Yeah.
That's not my lane. So, but if that's not being handled properly, that's part of that deal. That's part of that
Mhm.
deal. If escrow is messing around with cloudy titles or whatever have you, and shifting things around or hiding a title or hiding a portion of, and it's not, that's potentially illegal as well. So long story short, you can get into trouble any kind of way in real estate. And this is why I tell people, it's not always about what you do necessarily. It's
Mhm.
about, it's the deal, it's the transaction. The best thing you can do in any type of business is pray. If you
Yeah.
believe in God, if you believe in the universe, just pray or move forward with good intentions and pray that that be rewarded.
Mhm.
Um, so, but my portion of what I did back in 2006 to 8 to 9, there was stated income, and stated income with 700 plus FICO score. All you had to do was state your income. I don't know if that's actually the way it is right now today, but I'm sure stated income is still around somewhere. But all you had to do is state your income, state where you worked, state how much you made,
Mhm.
and that FICO score carried you, and so you didn't have to prove any of that.
Mhm.
So as bruh man was getting into the office,
Mhm.
Obama, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Baby, everybody love, he handsome.
Mhm. He
That's
is.
that's
He is.
that's and that's and that's and that's
Charismatic,
and that's all
charming.
I'll say about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. um but anyway, so a mortgage task force was created, and I know people are
Mm.
going to say that it wasn't his administration that created it. It was certainly his administration that enforced it, and
Hmm.
it was certainly his administration that could have knocked it down, especially when he saw that all these women were earning, because of the deliberate and intentional negligence of the banks.
Hmm.
Period. There's a dope movie y'all need to see if y'all are into real estate, and y'all, if you I would watch it, even I would watch it if I was new to real estate,
Yeah.
because it is as the world turns. There's on the curve, things come back around. So Inside Job is narrated by Matt Damon, I believe.
Matt Damon. What movie is it? Do you remember?
Mind blowing.
Or
It's called Inside Job.
oh, Inside Job. I gotta write that down. That sounds really
Yes,
good.
it is mind blowing. And so um,
So was it just that you weren't reporting the amounts like on your
no, no,
income
no, no, no,
tax,
no, 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 no,
or
no.
you're
It
changing the amounts?
no. So yes, I was changing the amounts.
Mm-hmm.
The amounts of what though?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what happened? So back in state when stated income was what it was, and these deals were falling out of escrow left and right, left and right. And so at this point, now you needed to provide documentation to support that stated income.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right. And at the
Mhm.
time, they didn't, there was no variable, there was no measure for what's too much to state. Of course,
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
some things that were stated, you knew they were just like over the top. You knew that it wasn't going to fly if it had to
Mhm.
be supported,
Mhm.
but it didn't need to be supported. And that was the whole purpose of stated income. And so when it got to a point where I think so, sis. I think that movie's on
On
Netflix. I'm
Netflix?
pretty
Yeah.
sure it is.
JGQ said it's a great movie as well. And hey,
Yeah.
Miss D, I see you in the building. Great to see you.
Hey, Miss D.
Oh,
That's Sunny Day's
Mysterious
mommy.
says she's writing it down. Yeah, so it's called Inside Job, guys,
Yeah.
by Matt
Yes.
Damon. Make sure you guys check it.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah,
revealing. It's so revealing.
I'm gonna check
So,
it.
so the real estate collapsed in 2011, 2008.
Yeah, 2008.
It's
Yeah.
2008. The
Mhm.
real estate fell. It hit the ground. So so there's a place I want to go right now, and I'm going to say that okay. So creating the doc. So now you had to support this real estate,
Mhm.
these embellished amounts and jobs and all of this stuff, right? That you created. So what are you going to do? I used to have like 17 up to, between I don't know between 13 and 17 deals in escrow
Mhm.
a month, like and
Wow, that's a lot.
yeah, it is. But and then sometimes it would spread into the next month if it didn't close. And sometimes it was really tough to keep all of those to my 6 week closes that I used to pride myself in.
Wow.
So long story short, you had this. The documentation was necessary. During that time, the deals were falling out of escrow left and right. 17 out of 17 deals, I think I closed three,
Hmm.
and it was a
Mhm.
struggle because
Mhm.
it was just not happening. And I know people in the chat that's familiar with that time period are like, yo,
Mhm.
they lost their socks.
Wow.
So, and so I'm down to like 3 deals at this point,
Mhm.
I think. And so one deal, before I even go there. So long story short, was I going to lose everything, or was I going to risk and make a run,
Mhm.
and survive? So I did what I did, and I
Yeah.
took a risk. I took a
Mhm.
risk, and it bit me in my whole ass.
Mhm. True. How long were you able to kind of get away with that? I guess that
I
portion,
did.
like how long?
Well, once I got away with it the first time, it was when did I stop?
Mhm.
Shoot. Anyway, here's the worst part about it. The worst part
Mhm.
about it is that I didn't need to do it. I was already at 5 figures a month. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. It's like when you have so much, like, is it just that you just kind of want more? Like, you wanna maintain your lifestyle or you just want more? Like, you know what I mean? Like
a couple of things
mhm,
for me. It's of course you got to maintain your lifestyle. I mean, my house,
mhm,
when I bought my house, first of all, I had like 8 properties before I even bought my house to live
mhm.
in. I was still in a 2 bedroom apartment with 8 houses in
Wow.
like
It's
2 in
crazy.
Atlanta, one in California. I had about maybe 4 in Detroit. Properties were real cheap in Detroit.
You probably had like 50 in Detroit, maybe.
I had a couple in Philadelphia. No, because I was trying to put together a property management company out there in Detroit with some of my family that lived out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so long story short, I had property before I moved into my house. But you create a lifestyle for yourself. And when I bought my house, my house was $12,000 a month. My
Wow.
mortgage
That's
was 12,000 a month.
crazy.
So
Crazy.
yeah, so
Wow.
it's like, so what do you do when you looking at, shit about to fall apart? You know what I
True.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, you can't just crawl under a rock at that point,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Now, I will say this,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely will grow differently this time. I will grow
Mm.
differently this time. But no matter how you choose to grow, it's business, and it's never always up, you know. Most people that I've talked to that have been successful 2 or 3 times and
Yeah.
lost everything, you
That's so
know.
true. I mean,
So
look at everyone. But I feel like I kind of feel like I'm not going to say a little unfair, and I want you speaking to that as well, because I just feel like in corporate America, everywhere we look, I'm not going to say a scandal, but I mean, you see organizations taking money all the time. Like you see it everywhere. So it's like I don't understand. I kind of feel like, just from the conversations I've heard online with you, I totally feel like your penalty was extremely harsh.
yeah,
And for all you guys that don't know and that are coming in, she had, what was it, 10 years? 10
it
years
was
is
10 years.
a
Yeah,
really incredibly harsh penalty when you think of, so many people in power, whether it's in entertainment, in the corporate world, like wherever you look, and they hit these money scandals, or presidents that have hit rock bottom and have done certain things, and it's just kind of a bit of a slap on the wrist, but it's not really jail time or like a 10-year period. So I just want to see how you felt about that when you heard that you're now going to get 10 years, because I can't even imagine how that would feel. But before you mention that, I just want to say, hey, Miss Tiff Star, great to see you. There's a few that came in the building. Crazy
Tiff
Berry
Star.
Town, great to see you, Crazy Berry Town,
Hi,
as
Crazy
well.
Berry
And
Town.
yeah, and please host, you guys. I don't have any mods. I am going to be looking for some new mods. So if you're interested, helping my show, my hours have changed, I think, to the weekends. A lot of changes this month. I'm still trying to figure out with Twitch and my new job, but definitely, message me if you guys know any great mods or anyone that might be interested in helping me as well. I think for the weekends, but you guys could mod each other and say hello to each other in the chat room. Don't forget to host the show right now. Again, for all you guys just coming in, we have Women Unsilenced sharing her powerful story with me. And I just really feel like it's such an incredible one. So how did you feel like when you heard, okay, it's going to be 10 years for me? Like what were you feeling at that time?
I couldn't even calculate what that was, because
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. There's like really small little differences in federal and state, but they do things differently. Yeah, Candle Lady. If this wasn't, first of all, I chose to do business with somebody I should never have done business with. That's how all
Mhm.
of this came about.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's that. They were, this person I was doing business with was unscrupulous from start to finish, and they were under investigation. And so they did what they did, and they saw that she and I were doing business on at this level, and they wanted to know, let's check her out. And she said she never gave them any inkling that I had anything to do, because I didn't have anything to do with what she was doing, because she was all over the place with it. But
Yeah.
but all they needed was one thing to tie me to her.
Wow.
They used an email, and she said, she said, this girl is funny today. She
Oh
said
my
that she didn't give them any email. She said she
Mhm.
doesn't know how they got that email. I'm like, girl, we communicated all the time. What you mean you don't know how they got that email?
Mhm.
My question
Mhm.
is, why did you give them that email?
Mhm.
But I didn't at that point, it didn't even matter. It wasn't even a why did you. It was like, okay, this is how you live, clearly. And so I just rolled. I had to roll with the punches and handle that. And
Did anything happen to your partners or who you're explaining? Like, did they get any harsh terms or penalties or anything?
yeah, the person that I was doing business with,
Mhm.
yeah, she went to prison for what she had been doing all along.
Oh, okay.
She was dealing in identity theft and business loans and all kinds of, she was stealing people's, and I know this because I saw the discovery, which is
Mhm.
evidence. So I saw the evidence and I just said, "This give me all the evidence," and stuff with her name on it. And I read through it. And so that's when I learned that she was pulling people's companies offline
Oh,
and
wow.
stealing
And
people's. Mhm.
that's crazy.
Stealing people's identities and applying those stolen identities to people's corporations and moving from that place to get business loans. And
And
so,
some will blame, when they, I guess, interrogate, sometimes they'll pin it on the friend or the partner or whoever and say, "Hey, we'll give you a shorter term if you tell us this or tell us that," so who knows what happened there. But yeah, so when
well,
Mhm.
the people that she was running with, she's the one that she snitched out all of them. So
Wow,
all of her partners got 10 years. It was like 8 of them.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I have read there was 8 of them, and she snitched all of them out, and they were supposed to have been in it together. She got 5 to 7, I think, or something.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
and so
how did you, like, I guess, adjust, because this isn't your lifestyle. Obviously, you're an entrepreneur, you're successful at it. We all make mistakes in life, like and for anyone that even judges, like including myself, no one can, because if our lives were magnified on a TV screen, there'd be dirt on every single one. So I even say that to myself, right? I wouldn't want my life magnified on the news or because I'm so imperfect, like everyone is. So I think it could be something that anyone can get involved with, right? Like,
yeah.
we
Oh
all
yeah.
make mistakes, but I don't
Mhm.
think it should be against us for life. And I guess in this day and age, we live in that type of culture where it's like if
Mhm.
you make a mistake, people don't have too much grace. And that's why
Right.
I just find your story remarkable, because I know it's not just a story, it's something you lived. It's not just a story, it's something, this is your life, this is something you've lived through. But I think to be able to come out on top and come where how far you are and just speak about it and be so truthful to people, like, I really find that commendable. Not too many people would be able to speak that truth, right? And that's why I think your story is going to touch and reach so many people. And as I mentioned to you, when I thought of you this morning, I thought of like Nelson Mandela, and I thought of like, I'm sure he would have never imagined like being imprisoned and then being a leader after, and everything that he went through. He's probably like, what the heck? Why am I going through this? But look how much he came up on top after, and look
Yeah.
at his incredible story. So
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know, it's a story, I think, like of faith as well. If you believe like just how God could take just really ordinary people and do something exceptional with them. And I really believe that that's like you're on your journey right now,
Mhm.
and it's just going to get bigger. That's what I
Yeah.
feel for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it will, I'm just gonna, continue forward following my heart with what I'm doing. And I had all kinds of plans when I came out. You send you send a business person to prison, and you got to know that they're coming out with business plans ready to just hit it and make it happen again. But when I came home, Woman Unsilenced became really important to me. So like, when I came back, there was Facebook and all that stuff. And I didn't, I opened up Facebook and I was in it. And then I saw all these women that I was, incarcerated with, and I didn't really want to see them again. I ain't gonna hold you. I just was like that was a piece of my life. Like I just assumed, be done with. And so, but when the plan is the plan and you following your heart, it's he'll put you back on track. So, but I did shut Facebook down for like a couple of weeks. Actually, it was more like 4 or 5 weeks. Um, and that's when I realized what it was all about for me, because at first it was just, it didn't, none of the dots connected. But later I realized what it was all for, and it was, I was able to go back to Facebook and open it up and see these women from a different light.
Mm-hmm.
I saw these women as women, and I saw them with the family, with the kids, and with the friends that they talked about, that they loved. You know what I mean? And I was like, I said, we're just women, all of us. We're just women. And I don't say that. I do say it meekly, because in all of strength, you know, most of us are nurturers. The majority of us are nurturers, at heart, and we're soft and fuzzy on the inside. Most of us. I know for most of the strong women that let me speak for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me speak for me. Um, I definitely have. I, I'm strong. There's no question about it. I don't even think anybody questions it. I think it's like, I think I kind of carry that way. Um, but I definitely used to carry that way and used to be able to see it. It was very clear. Okay, this is a strong woman, blah, blah, blah. But that didn't mean that strong women don't feel.
Mm-hmm.
Strong women are strong for reasons. I had my dad when I was a little girl. I had my parents. I was cared for and coddled. And now I'm in this world where I have these children. And I left my ex-husband when my youngest was 3 months old. So I have these two sons. Now I have to, and there's nobody to provide for me, to care for me. Now I'm a single mom. I have a great job. So, and I didn't believe in the system. So what do? You work and you listen, life makes you strong. So I could have been putzing around and, "Oh, okay, like scared and afraid and not made things happen. But then how would that have benefited my sons, is my mentality. So I had to be strong, and I had to display strength so that my sons would not be afraid, because
Yeah.
we take on the absent parents' traits, or we take on what the absent parents should be bringing to, or what we feel the absent parent would be bringing to the table. And so the absent parent, in my case, I felt like the absent parent in my kid's case would bring forth the strength and the
Mm-hmm.
security of home, like my daddy symbolized in my home.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we're not strong because we strong and we independent, we could do this. No,
That's very
no,
true.
no. I'm strong because I had to be strong.
Yeah, most women become very strong and overly independent because
That's
they're
right.
forced to. They don't really have an option.
Right.
So, and then they just roll with it, right?
And not a
But
pushover, because
mhm,
that's what happens. I mean, even in my house, when I bought my big old house, what I mean? Still no
mhm,
man in tow.
mhm.
So the repairman got me all the time. When I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
got me all the time, I mean it.
Mhm.
So it's so that's just a
How old were your kids when you got in, and like how have they reacted over the years, like when you got out as well?
my youngest was excuse me, let me turn this light on.
Yeah,
I think I'm drowning in darkness here.
no
So
problem.
my youngest was, when I went in, my youngest was 23.
Mhm.
My oldest was 28.
Okay. Yeah.
He was 28. So
Hmm.
yeah, they were grown, and I know you can. I used to say, well, that's great. At least they
Hmm.
weren't, babies, but children need their mother.
For sure.
I don't
Exactly.
care how old they are.
Yeah. It's so true.
They
Yeah.
need their mother, and I was a hands-on mom, like most of our mothers in our Black communities, hands-on, always there, conversations all the time, and so it affected my kids greatly. It
Hmm.
affected them, and it's not good, no matter what, no matter how old these kids are. It's just not, you know.
So true. We got Unknown Dreamer in the building. Thank you for coming through. I thought of you a couple weeks ago. I'm glad to
Hi
see you,
there.
Unknown Dreamer. Great to see you. Um, so I'm just, what kept you encouraged? Because I can't even imagine, like, it's like you're used to doing something for so long, you built so much, you got a family, and then now you know, you get this sentence, and your whole world has changed basically. Like what kept you encouraged all those years through that when you were in the system? And then the second question I guess I have is like, what did you see in there that could kind of change, that you really feel that that should change in the system? But also, what really kept you encouraged all those years?
All right. So, what kept me encouraged all of these years, all of those years?
Hmm.
Um, the worst part of my story is what made my time easier. And the worst part of my story, let me start by saying, I was a single mom. I built my company, and so I made my oldest son was a CEO, and my youngest son was a vice president, and this was very important to me as a single mom to be making things happen beyond that single parent syndrome space. And so naturally I wanted my sons to be able to look towards something other than, like, you can really make life happen without the street. Like, you can
Hmm.
really live for real without the street. um and so, long story short, the worst part of this journey was, hey baby, that's my
Hmm.
sister
Tall
queen,
pumps.
Tall
Great to
Punks.
see you, tall pumps. That
Yeah,
is the word. That is the word, tall pumps, right here. What
yeah,
I was looking for. I was trying to figure out the word, and you said it. Resilience. You have
that's
true
that's
resilience. Yeah.
that's what I stand for. But it's the worst. It's the worst part of the story is what made me even stronger.
Hmm.
So, like I said, I built this company. It became an empire, and I made millions of dollars, and I wanted my sons to have that. You know what I mean? So, when in making my son the CEO, which they arrested my son.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did he have an idea, or he didn't have an idea? Or he
Let me
must
let
have
me
known.
breathe. Let me breathe through that, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
no
that's
problem.
that's
No
not a
problem.
prop. That's not a part of my story that I share
No,
all
that's
the
okay.
time.
That's okay. Yeah.
I did share it already. You'll
Hmm.
see it in the show that's coming out,
Hmm.
but it's still, and I came to terms with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can talk about it. Um, but long story short, my sons I have taken from New York City, Queens, raised them. We raised them in Harlem,
Hmm.
all the way to California, to what we call grown men at the age of 28 and 23. No police contact. And of course, that's
Wow.
God's grace.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Hmm.
God's grace, because they're Black men and they've been pulled over very many times, like the rest of our Black men.
Hmm.
Um, so when my son was arrested, my oldest son was arrested, that collapsed my whole being.
Hmm.
That collapsed my core. You know, and And the authorities, they play dirty. They play dirty. They
Mhm.
arrested him when I was out of the country. I was in Italy. And you know, and so and these people, I think I was gone for like almost 2 weeks. They arrested him the day before I came. I was on the plane the whole time. Any other time,
Wow.
they would have my family would have been able to reach me. I would have told them exactly what to do to get, the bail money and all of this stuff, right? So they arrested me while I was on the plane. They arrested him. They arrested my son while I was on the plane traveling back to the States. And my daughter-in-law called me, but she said the phone was gone. I said, "Well, baby, it takes 12 hours to get from there to here." And long story short, if it wasn't for her mom, her parents, her mom in particular, which is a beautiful queen,
Mhm.
she's the one that bailed my son out.
Wow.
If she didn't bail him out, they would have shipped him to Florida in the system.
Oh, and that's
Yeah,
really harsh out there, right? I heard.
it's harsh,
Like,
period, baby.
yeah,
The
everywhere.
system,
Yeah.
it's harsh. And um, so I just thank God for her. I thank God
Mhm.
for her. I thank God for her being there because they were ready to send him through the system. At this point, he had gotten to central booking.
Mhm.
And so just to bring the story forward, that's what gave me my strength in
Wow.
prison. Because
Mm.
if they just want blood, they don't care who you are.
Mhm.
They just want blood. And
Mhm.
so when my son's trial, they gave him house. He didn't have to have any house arrest or anything like that, fortunately. And so when it came up for his trial, I didn't even know it was his trial time. Long story short,
Mhm.
but well, I didn't
Wow.
know it was this far. But yeah, so
Yeah.
long story short, that's what gave me my strength.
Yeah. I can see that. That's
Because if it
amazing.
wasn't if it wasn't me, if it wasn't him, if they didn't get me, if I didn't step up to say no, this is my business, my son had nothing to do with anything, they would have hit him with that.
Mhm.
He would have had the 10 years. And then of course I would have been like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, I
It's
wouldn't have
so
been able
true.
to live with that.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate. I know, sharing is not always easy, so I thank you for just, being so open and sharing too. We have Josh in the building. Great to see you. Is it Straight Up? Is it
Straight up.
Straight Up? Okay, we got
That's Josh straight up.
Straight Up. Okay.
That's like a little southern, a little southern north.
Yeah, I just found out what I am bike is. I literally thought someone was riding a bike when they were watching me stream. And they're like, girl, it's a Southern term. I'm like, okay, I'm learning. I'm learning. We got USC girl in the building. Great to
Hey,
see you.
USC girl.
We got DJ Sunny Day. How you doing? Great to see you. Candle
Mhm.
Lady. Thanks for coming through, you guys. If you have any questions, make sure you leave it for Women on Silence. Make sure you add her. She's amazing, and has such a great story. Her story, just everything she's been through. We got Sonia in the building from the Netherlands as well, and yeah. So thank you guys for. I'm just reading these messages here. Now you have some exciting news, and you're able to share it, right? Like just when that is releasing, like what you're doing. So I'll let you kind of share that with everyone too.
Yes, I am. Um, exciting is a weird word for it, right? It's
Hmm.
it's weird because I definitely came through some things
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
that really doesn't make it that exciting, but there's an excitement about it,
Hmm.
you know. So season 3 of BET's American Gangsters Trap Queens. I will be on that. And
Yay.
it started, they started airing some episodes already. My episode will be out towards, I think towards June. They still haven't given me an actual date. But, anybody that knows BET, that's just how that is.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And how did that happen? Did they just approach you? Did you submit your story in? Like, how did that just come about? as well.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, visualizing something is
Hmm.
amazing. I'm trying to figure out,
Yes.
why do I look so dark?
No, I
But
don't think you're not showing dark at all. Like I'm
no,
looking. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're very clear. Yeah.
visualizing stuff is like really interesting. I
Hmm.
actually visualized this happening. I
Wow.
did. I did. I honestly did. I said, there's going to come a space and opportunity. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, yeah, you don't. You look great. Yeah.
um, uh, yeah, oh, Candle Lady. I love Candle Lady.
Oh,
She's
here's a
just,
comment for you. USC girl says, I see her and it's so unreal to think she even was in prison. She's so classy and knowledgeable. But I think that's the misconception though, right? That people
that's
have
why
with
I'm
people in
doing
prison.
this. That's,
Exactly. So
this is
that's why I want
exactly.
you. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
You
we
go
can get
ahead.
into the
I'm sorry.
BET thing in a minute, but you know, at USC,
Yes.
girl, that is
Yeah,
exactly why I chose to do this. This is why I was led
exactly.
to do it. Let's put it that way, because I do believe I was called to do it. I stepped up to the plate with no problem, even though yes, I was nervous to do, podcasting, live streaming, and stuff, but
Hmm.
it's something I had to do. It's something I had to
Hmm.
do, and it's important to me, because when we speak of what to do with people coming home from prison,
Hmm.
when we as a community, we throw away people that were incarcerated, and we throw them away as if they just were nothing forever, like they were always nothing, they just never
It's
did
so
anything.
true. So
And
true.
it's like, I personally, you know, and I'm not unlike many other women in there. And that's the
Hmm.
other reason why I'm here. And this is
Hmm.
the other reason why I chose to step up, is because I didn't have a life of crime. I didn't live a life of crime. I built my business on integrity. I provide the false documents for some deals to happen? Yes, I did, and I have to pay for it. Not only did I pay for it one way, but I paid for it another as a mother. And so I'm clear. And I was one of those people that I could never do anything wrong, honey. I don't care what people were
Hmm.
doing. If I did it, it was going down,
Yeah, yeah.
So, but my point is, and I never spoke of prison. I never had the conversation. My friends, my circle, no prison, nothing ever. And so, but my point is that, you know, I want people need to know, the community needs to know that the system doesn't always do the right thing, y'all.
Hmm.
Don't
It's
do the right
true.
thing.
Yeah.
Please understand that system is not necessarily for you. Once there's a question about you, it's over. It's over. They destroy you. They destroy, well, so they think. And that's the other reason why I'm here, because y'all ain't destroying nothing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You'll put me on pause, maybe preserve me for a period in time such as now, you know. But people like
That is
me,
so true. That is so true.
people,
That's why I
people
think you have such a great, that's why I think you're going to have a powerhouse platform. Like I really
thank
do
you.
believe that because, you know, I think there's so many misconceptions and even I thought that too with the prison system. It's kind of like the raid that I just did and if you're passionate about something, right? I'm really passionate about human trafficking. You're really passionate about prison reform and you know, just meeting a lot of these survivors and these victims, even going back to the raid that I just did with all you guys, you know, a lot of people are just like, well, these women just want it, or how come they're involved in this? Like, there's so much misconceptions that they don't realize until they actually hear these stories. And it's the same thing with the prison system. You know, we all have kind of judgments and what we think, but when you think about it, these women have families, you know, their daughters, their sisters, they have kids, they, you know, maybe some went through domestic abuse and killed whoever, you know, which isn't great, but maybe they had to fight or, you know,
Right.
there's so many different things that we don't know behind someone's
So
story.
many.
Yeah, so
So
that's one
many.
thing that I've learned too, the preconceptions and that's why I think you're great in this field because not everyone can step into like a calling or just like a purpose like that. Not everyone can do that. This is your assignment, really, I think. You
Mhm.
know, just like I feel like this is my assignment and keeps me up at night is the human trafficking issue and trying to battle that. Like that keeps me up at night. for you, I could tell you're really passionate about prison reform, but not only just that, you've lived through it. So you could speak to these women and these other people that are going through it, you know, and the families, because it's not
Yeah.
just the people in the system, but it's also all the families affected by it as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really good. I know Stirs had a question here. He said, on your journey, what were the most unexpected, you know, oh yeah, and also sources of hope, light, and inspiration you've had on your journey? I like that question. Thanks, Stirs. Yeah.
um, hmm. The unexpected, unheralded sources of hope. Well, to start with, I had a date.
Hmm.
I had a date, y'all. There's people that, don't have dates. When I say dates, they don't have a date to come home.
Hmm.
And so, I knew that that would end. That would end. Thanks, Josh. Straight up.
Hmm.
Yeah, I knew that I would be going home one day. And so I just, you know, um, I just kept praying. I just said, Lord, please, please return me at least fundamentally as I was. I just
Hmm.
please don't let me become, because you have to pray. You have to
Hmm.
pray, because I can't sit here and think that everything that I did preserved me because I'm
Hmm.
so great and I'm so smart. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I would be crazy to think that. It's
Hmm.
God's grace that sustained me. And I know the only one thing that can change anything, that can change the decree, is prayer. And so, yes, I built a relationship. I studied Christianity. I studied Islam. Listen, God is real to me. And I don't mean
Hmm.
God in the sense of a human being. I mean God in the sense of the spirit of God is real,
Hmm.
you know. Um, and his grace, his grace.
Yeah,
And that was
so
my hope.
true. Yeah. I think that's the only hope in this day and age,
Right.
really. It truly is. Because people don't need to be behind a building to be
Thanks,
imprisoned. I
Blade,
feel
is
like,
truth. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's true. Like people are already imprisoned. Like even the most successful people that I'm noticing online are imprisoned, you know, like just deal with so much. And they
They
don't have to
do.
be in a building. And that's where I feel like you need to have some type of faith or foundation to stand on,
Yeah.
because you know, because we're all going through this has been a really tough pandemic and just everything. And you also came out like right, and I would have never known that. Like when you speak, I literally feel like your story was like, I don't know, like 10 or 20 years ago. But when you say that you just came out right before the pandemic, and I asked you, how are you dealing with this pandemic? And you're like, this is good. Like, I'm good. Like, the streets are quieter in New York. Like, and one thing that I found really beautiful, and I wasn't able to play it for you guys today, but maybe another time, Women Unsilenced showed a video of her first day coming out. And I just thought it was really beautiful because you know, she came out, and the excitement and just her voice and just her walking down the street of New York, and the little things that we take for granted, like a fruit stand with all the different colors and all the fruit, and just how excited you were to see that. Like it was, I don't know, it was just really touching and really moving, you know, to think that we walk by these things every single day and we take those things for granted. But for someone that has come out of the system like you, and just, oh, look at all the vibrant colors, look at the fruit, like just all these things, I could just see you probably with technology, like, oh my gosh, we're not on a pager anymore. We're on like an iPhone or something. I don't know.
Right. No, no,
But
that's
like,
real.
yeah, but and I've heard that too, or maybe BlackBerry to iPhone. I'm not sure.
No, I
But
had I had an iPhone. I had a 5S when I went in.
oh,
And
okay. Yeah, so that was late. Yeah, because you were later. I'm thinking pager. Sorry, I'm dating myself right now because I'm thinking the 90s. I'm thinking the 90s. I
no,
still live with the pager and the
I went in
BlackBerry.
2012. So actually September 7th, this coming up, is my 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was out,
Wow.
I got a year out on good time. So I actually came home April 29th, 2020. But
Wow.
I was still under BOP custody. So, so March 15th is when I actually went into probation. That's the federal thing. That's how, it sizes up in the federal prison.
Yeah. So how long do they keep like your record for 10 years? Is that how it works or no? Like, or do they still keep it on your, I don't know what it is, what you would call it.
Your
Like say,
record.
yeah, I guess your record. Yeah. Like if you're applying for a job, is it still like, can you cross the border? Like, or do you have like a 10-year wait, or did they shorten that? Does that shorten?
I'm not sure. I just know that, and look, it stirs. Ain't nobody try to cry today. But listen, I
There's
don't know.
cry.
At 10 for 10 years, hi Sonia. For 10 years, usually that's a marker for,
Mhm.
things to disappear. But of course, I don't believe they disappear. You know.
Okay. Well, I did talk to someone he was in jail for I think 12 years, and he mentioned like he told me it was like literally the grace of God. Like he's like, I don't know how I'm able to travel, get across borders, like apply for jobs. It just doesn't show up. Like it doesn't show up at all. Like it's the strangest thing. So he
Yeah,
was saying, I thought that his story was pretty remarkable.
that's
You
great.
know, I want to go back to there was
Didactic.
I'm gonna
Hey.
yeah, there's one message I want to go to. This is going to cover us, but I want to read it. Unknown Dreamer, I thought this was really powerful. It says, I
Mhm.
never get a chance to thank you for introducing me to Women Unsilenced. Such a phenomenal woman, strength and grace that runs through her. So bright, it's hard not to notice. I had so much hatred and anger for the person that shot me. Wow. Even though they are behind bars, and she helped me to understand I don't need that extra burden to carry every day. I would be lying if I say I fully forgive him, but I'm learning to do that every day. Really appreciate her. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Unknown Dreamer, for sharing that. That was beautiful,
And unknown
and
dream, I'm sorry. Just you've already forgiven him. So the rest is work that you have to do for yourself. All you needed to do
exactly.
was open your heart enough to forgive him and breathe. Breathe.
Yeah.
It's already
And
done.
to
That's done.
yeah, and to know that honestly, Unknown Dreamer, that you have a powerhouse story too. Everything
Yes.
we go through that we don't understand. And I was just thinking about that this morning again with different people that go through the hardest trials in life. And
Mhm.
it's like you're sitting there and you're not understanding. And that's what when Nelson Mandela came to my mind so powerfully in my heart this morning, just thinking of his journey and his struggle and everything he went through. And then he came up on top. I'm sure he was sitting there like, why did this happen to me? Each of us have stories, but they're to be used. And, it's hard. I can't even imagine also your story, but also know that you're going to be a powerhouse of change to help others, right?
Yeah, that's
Everything you're going through and where you're at, you are going to be a powerhouse to help the world too. And people need your story. In fact, everyone in this room, everyone needs your story. That's why it's so important to be honest with the stories we have.
yeah.
Um,
Only
mhm.
in time. Only in time because we don't
Yes.
owe anybody anything. I don't want
Hmm.
anybody, to feel like I need to share my story because
Hmm.
of somebody else sharing theirs. In time, God's going to lay it on your heart. It'll be so heavy.
Yeah, that's
You can't do
true.
anything but share it.
Yeah, it's very, very true.
Mhm.
That's a good point. Um, let's see here. I like this. Faith, no matter what that looks like for the individual, is the greatest savior and motivator. Yes, thank you. I always call them tic tac, didactic. Did I say that right? Didactic? Is that how you say it? No, you said it different.
Well, I mean, the word didactic,
Oh,
that's
didactic?
I don't even know if
Didactic?
that's how you spell it, but yeah, that's
I
what
don't
came to
know.
my mind. Girl, we got to ask the people how they want their name
Yeah,
pronounced
sorry guys. I'm so horrible at
because it could
pronouncing
be
names.
did act. I,
I call her TikTok. I don't know. I always get it messed up. I mash up names. Everyone knows that. There was also another comment here too. Oh, there was another one here. I'm gonna get to it. This girl, Xtina, says, I have a neighbor who was in prison for 40 plus. Wow. wrongly convicted. That's insane. Years who got out at the beginning of the pandemic. And he said that it was helpful to him adjusting, not having so many people outside.
This girl, what do you call it? Christina, right? This girl,
Yes,
Christina.
yes,
Those are
Christina.
my sentiments exactly. It was
Wow.
so like I was actually in Harlem when I came home, and the Harlem streets were empty in April.
I know, I
That's
know. Wow.
crazy. So no, it was a blessing. It was a blessing because see, I was for myself. I don't know if your person did Fed or state. If they did state, they had to come straight home to someone, you know. So their rules and stuff are different than mine. But I was able to go straight to family because of COVID. But usually we would go
Mhm.
straight to a halfway house. Long story short, I had a lot of restrictions on me. I had times when I had to come in. I had to schedule when I needed to go to Dwayne Reed or Rite Aid or whatever, and it's crazy. So to have nobody on the street, I wasn't sure of anything about me at that point.
Mhm.
How to
Mhm.
dress, what to eat, just not, I wasn't sure of anything. When I tell you anything, I mean it. And so it was nice to be able to just put on some sneakers. I didn't want my family to inundate me with brand new stuff like that because
Mhm.
I wanted to feel my way back into me, you know,
Wow, that's so interesting.
and
Yeah,
find
that's
my
really
own, my own style. I had style before,
I
I
can
wanted
see
to,
that.
yeah, I wanted to find my own style, so
Yeah.
you know, so walking around with nobody knowing who I was, my hair was dark, I had a ponytail, and so
Mhm.
it was cool. It was all right. The COVID. I mean, there's always something good that comes out of something bad, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Now, I know, Josh, Scrate, I keep saying straight,
I said
straight up,
Tall Pumps had a
straight up.
question too.
Yes, I'm gonna get to that one, but I like this comment here. It says, "Powerful stories turn into powerful leaders." So true.
Mm,
Um, Thank you for that. That's really
yes.
great.
Yes.
Tall
Thank you.
pumps, yes. So I like your questions, Tall pumps. She always asks the right. She needs to be a journalist. Tall
She
pumps.
always has some questions.
Yeah, yeah, but I like it. I like it. She always asks very different questions. I love it. So thank you, Tall Pumps. She'd be someone to go shopping with. I like her. She's spicy too. So she's got the heels. She's got the stilettos. She'd be a great person to
Yes.
go shopping with. But she goes. She asks, "Has your experience made you?" Yes, I totally see this. Has your experience made you want to go into some sort of legal capacity or even political to change the laws for more equality and equity?
Girl, that whole system's a farce. Hell no. um, to be specific, first of all, I would not ever be an attorney. Ever. Ever. I would never the one thing that is misconceived in in America, I don't know what it is outside of the world, but in America is that your attorney is all for you.
Hmm.
Your attorney is an officer of the court, just like the police officer is an officer of the court. Please understand and know that to be true. So, you know the most about your case. You know more about your case than any attorney you could ever get. And all of what I'm speaking so emphatically about is stuff that I learned after the fact. So trust me when I tell you, I'm not judging any of us at all. You don't know these things until you need to know them, right? So yeah, no, the yeah. Yeah, no. The attorney is an officer of the court first, and I can take it further that they report to the crown, they pledge allegiance to the crown, and blah blah blah. So, but I'm not gonna go that far with it. It's
But
but
maybe not an attorney, but what about like a political leader that, like for example, I know Kim Kardashian, she does prison reform. Like, what about someone that is kind of like an activist or a leader, that's really, I think you're already kind of doing it actually with your prison
activist,
reform, but
leader,
mhm,
political, all different.
mhm. Or what about a political candidate? you know?
Absolutely not.
No.
Now, if I did run
Mhm.
for something, I would be doing
Yes.
it just to shake shit up,
Mhm.
just to keep it 100.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I will shake it up,
Yeah,
you
I could
know.
see that.
Yeah, but to actually hold office, that stuff is too corrupt. It's
Mm.
too corrupt.
Yeah.
It's too corrupt. You once you get in there, you'll realize that you have no power to make any change. And so, I mean, you have to, and let me back up because I was never a political, I never held any political office or anything, but there's something to be said about the many people that go in there wanting to create change and make change and don't change a damn thing. So
Mhm.
you you know like
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you're definitely, doing it. So it's like, how did you end up on like Twitch, Instagram, and just how did you come up with, hey, I got out just recently. I'm going to decide to do a show. Like, how did that work? Where, you just decided, okay, I'm going to give this a try.
Well, I came out with my business plans in tow, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm a businesswoman and I have to start a business if I'm going to eat, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, I used to read the Wall Street Journal while I was in there, so
Hmm.
I knew what was going on out here. I understood the plant based and how and how prominent that was going to be and all that stuff. And I knew that the only way to win uh, was to know social media. You had to,
Hmm.
and so I was gearing myself up before I came home, like, okay, now I hate to have to do all of this technology and all of this stuff, but that's what it is. If I'm going to have a business and I'm going to win and be successful again, I have to learn these platforms. And that's what I did. I came home, I got on Zoom, I got on Instagram, I got on Facebook, I got
Hmm.
on everything, and I had to
Hmm.
learn it. And I didn't have the money for somebody to teach me or to just do what I needed, so
Hmm.
I had to teach myself how to do all of that. I mean, at 57, we stray away as a community from technology. I don't need that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I know how. I want to know how to text. I need to learn how to. I want to know Instagram. You know,
Hmm.
I want to
So
win.
then, can you get that in when you're in prison? Like, could you get Facebook, Instagram? No, no. I think they do out here. I could be wrong. I gotta talk to Nightmare about that. But I think they get, I mean, you get TV, right? You get TV. I think they had a lot of devices like social media and everything out here, I think. I
No,
could
in
be
the
wrong
feds, you
though.
don't even get. There's no internet. There's nothing. There's no internet.
Oh, there isn't. How long do they give you? Do they give you a little bit of time to go outside, or are you allowed to go outside the whole time? Like,
I was
what's
minimum
it?
security.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I was very low security. I was in a prison camp, and no,
Mhm.
it's not a cupcake. It's not
Mhm.
a cupcake. You're not
Mhm.
out there just hanging out playing tennis. Well, you do hang out a lot, um, and but you know, yeah, no, I was in a very low security prison. So yeah,
Okay,
and we
that's
didn't
good.
have any. We had video visits, but that was it. And there was no internet. There was barely a decent library.
Wow. So video visits, you mean you didn't have any in-person visits?
Yeah, we could have in-person
Oh,
visits.
you did.
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in addition, we got video visits as well, which was very
Oh,
helpful.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Have
very
you ever
helpful.
thought about going back there and making changes? I don't know, like maybe working with some of the officers or people, like,
The
or
people,
maybe not. I don't know. Like kind of like working to help. I don't know, in some capacity.
I'm actually right now just finding out that I have to be a whole year off of probation in order to go back in the prisons. Initially, I didn't want to go. I just like,
Okay.
no, I was asked and I was like, no, I would not, I would never put myself back in that position again.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm moving as I'm led, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
And
true.
so I'm being led to go back in. And I want to now not just to go back in to speak, but to go back in and with a program. I want to
Mhm.
build I have a reentry program that I
Mhm.
want to bring into the prisons and help to reacclimate you know, the offenders back to real life. After 18 months of prison, 6 to 8 months, I want to say, of prison, you have become institutionalized
Hmm.
without even realizing it. So that's why COVID, coming home to COVID and the streets being empty like that, was great for me. I needed to find myself and how I fit back into society again.
Yeah, that's true. Because it is probably a process. Like, for me, I don't know. I feel like this is a crazy lockdown. So as an extreme extrovert, I feel like it's been really tough because I'm not an introverted person. I'm a people
Mhm,
person.
mhm,
But I mean, I can't even talk to you about that because, yeah, it's interesting hearing your perspective because it's quite opposite, right?
mhm.
Because you've had obviously a much harsher lockdown. This isn't even considered a lockdown, right? To other
Mhm.
people. But I love how you explained it because you give me a different perspective. It's kind of like the video that you played with you just walking down the street and just getting excited over the smallest things that we bypass daily, And it
Yeah.
was a reminder to me that, like, oh, I should really look at, regardless of what's going on in the world right now, we should really look at those good moments and those simple moments and be able to stop by a fruit stand and get excited for things, right? That we're seeing.
Well, that's my story. That's
Mhm.
my story. I
Mhm.
respect your story. I
Mhm.
respect that you have a cushy lifestyle. I respect anybody that has, whatever life they have. When something gets snatched from you, it's
Mhm.
painful.
Oh yeah,
you
for
know
sure.
um Prison is definitely an additional layer. you know
Mhm.
but your story is relevant, your story is valid all by
Mhm.
itself, not in comparison to mine.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I
you
agree. Yeah, I
yeah,
totally agree with that.
yeah,
I'm just saying it's good to, when you listen to other people's stories, to also be I guess grateful. Sometimes
yeah.
you need to
It
listen
makes
to
you
other
grateful.
people's stories to have gratitude, right? And
Yeah,
I think seeing your video made me think about that, to
yeah.
have
The little
gratitude.
things, right?
Yeah, like even in a tough season, to have gratitude as
That's right.
well. So
That's
what are your plans? I know, wow, it's almost 7 o'clock here too. Are you doing a show tonight? Do you still do
I'm
shows on
doing,
Wednesday?
yeah, I'm doing a new type of show
Okay.
that
What
I
time
haven't
is it
really.
at? Is it at 7 or
No, this one,
no, it's later?
My Tuesday and Thursday is 7:30,
Okay. Yeah.
and tonight is at 10 p.m. Where
Okay.
it's just R&B, and then a tuck in.
Mm-hmm.
So at a certain hour before midnight, I'll take you through like a mindful relaxation,
Oh
and
yeah, I think I was on that. Yeah, I was on that. You put Stirs to sleep. He was
yeah.
snoring. He was snoring with his computer open. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
so it's a space of just relaxing every part of your body. And when people call attention to for you to relax that specific part of your body, it actually makes you relax. And so there, and I take them into a slumber.
Mhm.
At midnight we're out. So that comes on at
Oh,
10
okay.
10 p.m. tonight.
Okay, so make sure you guys check out, Women Unsilenced, of course, her show. Make sure you guys add her. Everyone in the room that hasn't added her, make sure you guys add
It's
Women
actually woman.
Unsilenced. Sorry?
It's
Woman? What am I
it's
saying?
WOMAN.
Oh, is that not what I'm saying? Woman? Oh, maybe I say
I don't know what you're
woman.
saying. I was just looking at the caption there. If anybody's
Oh, do
trying
I
to,
have it wrong? Oh, shoot. You're right.
that's
Sorry about
okay.
that, guys.
It's
You
all
know
right.
what? I wrote it wrong. Yeah, that was my mistake.
It's okay.
I didn't realize that. Yes, so I'm going to try to see if I could fix this as well. But while I'm fixing this, sorry about that. Yeah, so make sure you guys add, there is her user ID right here, Women Unsilenced. If you guys, oh, here we go. Thank you, DJ Ash G. I appreciate that. Make sure everyone in the room add her. Really great show that she does as well. And it's only growing too. Now, I saw Stirs de Soul. He actually had a question up here too for you that I thought was really great. And I'm just trying to find it. Where is it? Here it is. So, what are the parts of Cookie that you discovered behind the scenes that serve you best on your current walk? And which are the lessons you're surprised to have allied in your new life? Wow, he asked some pretty deep questions here.
Those are good,
They're great
Ashley.
questions.
I gotta take it apart.
I know, I know.
What
I
are
have
the
to
parts
think
of
about
cookie
that.
that you discovered behind the scenes that serve you best on your current walk? Resilience. Resilience. And resilience has always been there. It's so crazy because um there was a point in time, like before this happened, I was ready to retire my real estate career, and
Mhm.
I was successful in that space. I was traveling around the world, and doing what I wanted to do, and tending to my nonprofit organization the way I really wanted to. And um and um so the resilience came back into play when this
Mhm.
happened. I think I was about ready to let the guards down at that point. And then someone was like, "Oh no."
Mhm.
And as soon as I got back, so resilience for that part. And which are the lessons I'm surprised to have a lot aligned myself with in my new life? Lessons. I can't call it a lesson, so I will say I can't recall a lesson.
Hmm. Yeah, that's deep. He asked some deep questions.
Yeah,
Got me
I'd
thinking
have
too.
to I'd have to think about that. I mean, hmm, I don't know,
I know.
SG.
I
I
had
don't
to
know.
I put the scrolling thing on here so I can keep his question here.
I wish I had an
um,
answer for you though. I like
no,
to
that's
answer
okay.
everything, but I just don't have one for
He
that.
said I meant applied, applied. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, what are the
Um,
lessons? Oh,
that you applied in your yeah, it's those are deep questions. Those are questions that
oh,
make you think.
no, gratefulness.
Mhm.
Gratefulness. The lesson is gratefulness. The lesson is patience. The lesson is all of these things that I don't feel like I had before. I mean, I said thank you, thank you, Lord. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I didn't, there wasn't a wholeheartedness that went along with that. When I say thank you now, I mean it. Like I mean it through and through. It's so much deeper now than it was before. And God and my relationship with life and God is so much bigger
Mhm.
now. Patience. I can let so many things roll off my back now that there's no way I would have allowed before. No way.
Hmm.
No way. So yeah.
Would you say forgiveness too at all? That's a tough one.
No, not for me. No,
No?
no. I was the,
Mm.
the only tough part that you got that face for is I was trying to think, was I forgiving before? I'm
Mhm.
certainly, and I was, because I like to move on. I like to be
Mhm.
happy. You can't be happy if you're harboring and holding all this stuff in you. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
yes,
That's
I was
true.
forgiving before. Today, I'm even more forgiving.
Hmm.
I can listen. One of the women one of my sister friends
Mhm.
played a part in me going down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A friend of almost 30 years. We
Wow.
had our sweet 16 party together, girl.
Wow. That's
So she,
crazy.
yeah, and I posted my journals, my journal entries, because I've been journaling since 2012, since the day I stepped foot in there, and I have all of them. So I will be publishing those at a point. And So long story short, she played a part in it, and so when I came home, I saw her on my page. Now I noticed that when I posted that journal entry, that spilled that bean, she disappeared. because all before that I was getting, oh, you're gonna be fine. You're still a beautiful person. We love you. Da, da, da. And when I posted that journal entry, because I'm keeping it 100, that's how I
Mhm.
felt then. So
Mhm.
I stated that in my journal entry. I did not change any of it, and I did put a little disclaimer at the bottom. I said, however, that is not the space that I am in today.
Mhm.
But still, I hadn't seen her after that comment, and then here I'm released in 2020. So I'm home and I'm looking through Facebook. Every once in a while I see her pop up liking something that I put down. And I'm like, nah, you know, she knows she did me dirty. Nah,
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I saw it like a few too many times. Well, a few enough times to know that okay, it's deliberate. She is actually liking what I'm posting. And so and she's happy that I made it home. I
Mhm.
get that feeling. She
Mhm.
had to be because she knows that we're friends for years. She knows that I didn't deserve to be in nobody's prison for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a
We
long
just that's
time.
not how we left. We just didn't live like that. So there was
Yeah.
no. So we didn't live in a way that warranted any of that or any question of it. So I know she felt pain for me being in there. And so long story short, when I realized that it was deliberate and with her liking stuff on my page, I responded and I sent her one of the three hearts on the smiley face.
Mhm.
And I said, I love you.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Wow. Did she respond to that?
she responded with two big hearts in the
No.
eyes,
Oh
you
gosh.
know.
Okay. Would you ever
Yes.
have a conversation? Would you ever think about having a conversation with her about everything? Or
No,
no?
there's no
No.
need. She knows what she did,
Mhm.
and she knows the consequences I faced and dealt with. There's no need for a
Mhm.
conversation about that.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
Yeah.
and not for nothing else. I know how the feds play. They play very dirty. They probably
Mm.
threaten her. There's nothing in any of our lives that could keep us from going into the feds. Please understand.
Mhm.
Nothing.
Mhm.
I don't care if you think you did everything perfectly. The feds, if they want you to satisfy a quota or to satisfy a case, they will
That's
fabricate it. So,
crazy.
truth.
Mhm.
And so, nothing will save you from that. And so you just pray, just
Mhm.
pray. Um, so I said all that to say that I forgive her, and I forgave her at the point in time when I released those journal entries, and yeah, it's so much easier to forgive. It's
Mhm.
easier. It's easier to love. I
Mhm.
just yeah, loving is easier for me, and I prefer it. I
Mhm.
prefer it. How do you smile? How do you have happy?
Yeah, it's so true.
You
Hey,
know.
Streds, thanks for joining
Hi,
us. Great to see
Struts.
you. We call him Stred Muffin. He's very,
Aw,
very sweet. He's a very really great guy, along
yeah.
with everyone else here in this
Yeah.
room, of course. But
I saw him in
good
my
to see
chat
you.
one time. I think I met him. I don't know if I met him at your chat. Somebody's chat.
Yeah,
But
probably.
yeah.
Yeah, we call him Strud Muffin. And I know
Yeah.
Sonia had something powerful she wrote. I can't scroll all the way up now because I can't find it. I'm sorry, Sonia. But she posted something about a family member, I think, killing someone actually, which is crazy. And she said that she had to forgive. I think it was her son-in-law or something happened there. And thank you so much. You could repost if you want, Sonia, but thank you for sharing that. She's from the Netherlands. So
Wow.
definitely your story and everything you're sharing. And we were talking about forgiveness a bit earlier, and she was mentioning a comment after yours. See, it's amazing. We would never know what people go through,
Yeah.
until you actually open up your story. So I think that's incredible. So I would leave you with this because I know it's 7:05. Do you have another minute or two? I know you got to get ready for your show.
I do have a
So,
minute or two. My show on Wednesday and Sunday night are very laid back. The chat controls the conversation, and so we're listening to R&B music, and
mhm.
then we get ready for the relaxation tuck in. So
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I have a minute to say the least.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and we'll wrap it up then. But Prior Inc. says less energy to forgive and move on than to hold it on. So true, Prior Inc. Thank you so much, and for coming
Yeah,
through too.
yeah,
Oh yeah, Sonia says wow, my brother-in-law was killed by his son-in-law. Wow, and she said that she Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. And Sonia says 6 months after my sister passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sonia. That's a
Sorry,
lot, you
Sonia.
know?
That is a
Yeah,
lot.
it is a
So
lot. And
sorry.
it happened, I think recently she mentioned, um, but she also said that she forgave. Wow, that's unbelievable. She says she forgave him right away. Hate
Yeah.
or whatever is no contribution for his prison life or my life. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's so true. Because they
That
say
is
forgiveness in 2019. That's it. Yeah, they say forgiveness is more for us, obviously, than for others. So that's so
It
true.
is. It
Yeah.
is. It
So
definitely is.
yeah. So
You know,
one
that,
thing I was sorry, go ahead.
no, baby, you go ahead. I'm good.
Okay, yeah. One thing I was going to ask you to is what would be on your life bucket list? Like if you had anything you could do, money is not, like nothing holding you back right now. If there's anything that you would have on your bucket list, what would you want to do? Your life bucket list?
So I don't really know what a bucket list means. Is that something that you only wish upon a star that you could actually make happen? Or is it something?
Yeah, I guess just anything that you would wanna do before you, I guess, pass away. Like anything that you have in this lifetime that you would wanna do, whether it's an accomplishment or just could be anything. It could be something fun, could be something inspirational, just anything that means something to you that you would love to do. Could be running a huge business, could be on a stage, like some things on my bucket list, just for fun, say for DJing or emceeing would be being in the Toronto Raptors arena. That would be a dream of mine to be standing in the middle of the arena with like a microphone and getting the crowd going, or being in the middle of a football field and doing that. That would be I guess, a DJ bucket list goal. Another one would be like maybe helping more women in human trafficking, maybe running a nonprofit and doing something that is beyond myself to help uh, women and children and even boys, involved in human trafficking and need. That would be something that I would want to do definitely before I pass away to contribute to the world, like purpose. So it could be anything, small or big, or anything that you would love to do.
Well, um, okay, so I don't want to be so look, honestly, I'm living in my purpose, and I don't have a bucket list of
Hmm.
things that I want to do, because anything that I want to do, I'll make a plan to head toward it
Hmm.
to make it happen. You
I
know what
like
I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's not in the bottom of a bucket. You know what I'm saying? I'll put it on the table and start making plans for it to happen. And as long as I can, in a healthy space, work toward it, that's my purpose,
Yeah.
right? So I'm being fulfilled, whether the actual act happens or not, if that
Hmm.
makes
No,
sense.
it does. It does. Because
Yeah.
you're already running, like you started. Why don't you just tell them before we leave as well what your nonprofit is? And of course, you could talk about your Twitch channel a little bit too again, but your
Mhm.
nonprofit that you have as well.
My nonprofit is Women Unsilenced,
Hmm.
and we serve to empower trauma impacted women with the tools and support to help our sisters regain her sense of self worth. Along with that comes a three-pronged program: is self-help. So that's why I added to my Twitch program, wellness on Tuesdays at 7:30. So it's a health and wellness space that we take up. And I have Dr. Witherspoon that comes in every first Tuesday of the month. And she's a nutritionist slash doctor of Oriental medicine. And she brings all of the nutritional facts towards eating healthy. And it's not about being a vegan, because she's actually against being a vegan. She's more about balanced meals. You can eat meat, you can eat chicken. I personally don't, but I have my protein in my fish. You
Hmm.
know, she is so we have that for wellness. We just added doctor, not doctor. She is a certified licensed psychotherapist. And so we have Raina Ryan with us once per month, and that's every third Tuesday of the month for, therapy. And so we're going to have couples, men and women together on, well, and she's going to have, so we'll have sessions, if you will, question and answers and stuff about healthy relationships, obtaining healthy relationships, sustaining them and maintaining them. That's her acronym for a program that she's putting together. And so that's Tuesday night at 7:30. And on Thursday night at 7:30, I'll just keep the two T's together. Thursday night at 7:30 is prison reentry, where the premise of that is to bridge the gap between society and our returning citizens. You are. She's got cake. You got cake.
Great to
Wow.
see you. She got cake.
Awesome. I'll probably catch up with you then.
Yeah, you
That's
guys got to
awesome.
link. You guys got to link up. It's interesting because you never know who you're going
Nice
to
to meet
meet.
you.
Like even
Yeah.
the DJs, it's like I've interviewed, DJs that are attorneys fighting like human right laws in other countries. You would never think by looking at their shows what they do, doctors and social workers. It's quite interesting, to see who's a DJ or who streams on here, right?
Right.
And they live all these interesting lives in their day jobs, which I find interesting. So
Right.
yeah, I
So
just
yeah,
wanted go ahead. Yeah, go
so
ahead.
that's Thursday night at 7:30.
Mhm.
The prison reentry. And yeah, so where's we got somebody coming in on Thursday. But so and then on Wednesday and Sunday is laid back, the mindful, the relaxation, the mindful relaxation that turns into a tuck in on Wednesday night. And on Sunday night, we're going to do anonymous karaoke.
Oh, cool. I love
Yes,
that.
I got
Karaoke.
I got a whole new phone for it. You'll be able to call in. We're going to play games, and it'll be an R&B based space.
Awesome. That'll be fun for sure. And she
Yeah.
also has DJs once in a while, guys. I was on her show too, trying to figure out the audio and she has conversation. It's just a lot of fun. So make sure you guys add Women Unsilenced as well, and definitely, check out her nonprofit as well. Support it too.
And
Maybe we could do a fundraiser for it or something like that.
yes,
We could
yes, we
always
can. It is
work at figuring out something. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes, that would be awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, my goal for that was all my mission. My goal is to institute reentry housing across
Mhm.
America, just like I had properties across America for my own personal gain. Um, I want to do reentry housing for people that are reentering society from prison and from trauma-based situations. So
Mhm. Okay,
that's the
great.
goal.
That's so good. I'm just opening up a page here actually. Hopefully it doesn't make um any noise on your end. Okay, I'm just trying to open up Twitch so we could raid out. But I want to thank you so much again. You guys, make sure everyone in the room please add Women Unsilenced. Her user ID is right here too. And also her link was in the chat too. I'm trying to find it here. It feels different with really no mods in the building. I think Junior came
I
in.
bet.
Junior,
You're doing a
post the
good
link.
job though with no mods.
Yeah, well, I think I might run it for a while until I, figure that out. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much again,
Thank
for
you.
just opening up your story and just sharing it with the world. I think it's awesome, and I can't wait to see you do more big
Thank
things.
you.
And you guys make sure, when is it airing on BET, your documentary
Yes,
as
I was gonna
well?
say, don't forget to watch season 3 of BET's American Gangsters Trap Queens. I
Yeah.
don't have a date. They haven't given me a date. They just called me just 2 days ago and told me it's coming in probably June. So it's after the first 5 episodes air. So I'll be part of the next 5, and I just don't know exactly where that puts me. So, but I'm on
Okay.
Twitch, so you guys have access to me. I'll
And then
definitely
once,
share it.
yeah, definitely share it. Like,
Yeah, we'll
take
have a
take
watch party or something.
yeah, definitely have a watch party or something amazing. So make sure you guys look out for her, add her, check out her show. She's on tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So, if you're up at 10 o'clock, make sure you guys check out her show too. And we are going to see who we are going to raid into.
I am so
Um,
humbled that you guys watched and were interested in, to to hear my story. I appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I always like hearing, where people have come from there. It's
Mhm.
always interesting to me, their stories, and you never know. You can never judge a book by its cover, and I
Thanks for
would have
having
never looked.
me.
Yeah, just by looking at someone too, you would never know what people's stories are, right? And you
Right.
truly have an incredible one. So I can't wait to see even bigger things like come out of, you know, your story, which I know there's going to be more. I think this is
Yeah.
just the beginning.
Thank you.
So I was going to say if you wanted to raid into someone, I could leave it up to you. I don't know if you could see there though.
I have you up on this other platform.
Oh, okay. If you can't, then that's okay. I'm just trying to look quickly here who we could raid into as well and
Let's
support.
see.
Trying to look for someone that's always kind of also supported my show too. I don't know if you could see anyone. Let's see here.
I don't. It's like pretty amazing. It's I
Let's
don't
see.
see. I what about
It's a lot of people.
DJOE?
You know what? I was just thinking about him because he's rated into my show a few times. I got to catch him. So I think
That's
that's great. Let's rate into DJ OE. That's perfect.
It kind
Now
of
I got
makes
to
me
figure out.
wonder where everyone else is.
Actually, there's a lot of people online. I'm like scrolling through everything.
Oh, it does
So
say
yeah,
show more. Hmm.
yeah. So let's rate into guys. I think that's great. Let's rate into DJ OE. He's got a great, he's a great DJ as well. It says the Vibe and Chill Lounge where he's at. So let's rate into him. And thank you guys so much for joining the Honey Flow Show. If you guys are new, make sure you follow before you leave. Here, make sure you follow Women Unsilenced so you could check
Yes.
out her show at 10 o'clock tonight. And yeah, we're going to keep this moving. So if you want to say anything to the chat room as well, you're more than welcome to while I set. Oh, you're going to set up the Ray Junior? That would help. Yeah, if you could set up the Ray Junior, that would be perfect. I'm going to try to spell it out for you in the chat. That's how you spell his name. Do you see it there, Junior? So we're going to get you to set up the Ray Junior. That would be most helpful. So let me know if you could set that up.
I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you.
Yes, it was
I
great.
appreciate, and girl, thank you, Honey Flo. I appreciate the opportunity. It's even a training ground. I'm pretty sure there'll be more. I'll be on Dr. Dady Priest, you guys.
Oh,
We
awesome.
love Dr. Dady Priest, right?
Yeah.
I will be on her show. I don't want to say it wrong. Dr. Dady Priest, the 15th of May.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and Tawana's Twitch.
Oh,
You guys
wow.
say
Okay.
I'll be on Tawana's Twitch on May 7th. And yeah, and you guys extend a prayer out for Tawana. She was supposed to be on my show last night, and she sent a message earlier, in actually the day before, and then the same day. And so just keep her in prayer. I don't want to, she'll come back and share, what her
Okay. No problems.
experiences. But
So
yeah,
make sure you guys do that then. For sure, we'll all do that together. Did you
yeah.
did you do that right, Junior, or no? You got to put forward slash, not exclamation mark. It was
Oh,
so
look,
funny.
DJOE was in here.
Oh, was he? Oh
Yeah.
shoot. Oh shoot. Is he leaving? He's not rating us. I
No,
hope
no, no.
not.
He's no. I believe he was
Okay.
in here earlier.
Make sure you guys stick around, throw up my emotes, and we'll say hi. It looks like the raid is going to go in like 2 minutes. Again, thank you so much for
Thank
such a great interview
you.
and for being so open. I loved it tonight, and I can hear your story 10 times over, and still like hearing it.
Oh,
And
thank
all your
you.
wisdom that you bring. So thank you so much for coming on the show today, and make sure you guys support her 10 o'clock, you guys, and of course on BET. Look out for a documentary. It's going to be really great seeing that as well airing. So it looks like it's going through. It's
You got
taking
almost
its
as much
time.
as BET got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh geez. Yeah.
almost.
BET would be amazing.
more stuff
That's
in the
going to be
book,
amazing.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
That's
you can
gonna be
have me
great.
back when I drop for the pre-orders for the book.
Oh yeah, definitely. I need your autograph. I mean, you're going to be a busy woman. You're going to be a busy woman with a floppy hat on and black shades, traveling
You
the
know I'm doing the
world.
floppy hat.
So I'll be joining you, but
Back to
in
LA for
Canada,
me.
watching you. Yeah,
Back to LA for me. I can't wait
ex-
to go back.
exactly. So I'm wondering if this went through. Do you guys see the raid going
It did. I
through?
did see it. It said rating through. It said,
Oh, did it?
yeah.
Okay, it looks
Yeah,
like it
we're
just
there
raided through.
actually.
Okay, so I'm going to end this broadcast and just talk to you for a second backstage, and we're good. I'm just going to end it right
Okay.
now. So thank you guys, appreciate you, and I'll see you guys soon on the Honey Flow show as well.